10 years ago, Apple released one of the most controversial iOS updates ever, iOS 7. It completely radically changed all of the devices that they were selling at the time with a completely new design. Up to that point, iOS had been developed by Scott Forstall, and in 2012, when iOS 6 shipped with Apple Maps, he was let go from the company for refusing to apologize for making the Apple Maps application the way it turned out and releasing it to the public before it was ready. In iOS 6, both the built-in YouTube application and the Google Maps application were removed in favor of a new Apple Maps, and their partnership with Google had passed. When Scott Forstall was removed from the company, Johnny Ive, who was in charge of the hardware design for the iPhone, stepped up and took over the development of the software as well. He was then the final say for both hardware and software running on all Apple devices moving forward starting in 2013. With that shift, iOS 7 became one of the most controversial updates to any version of iOS so far. To 2023, there has not been another design change as radical as what we saw with iOS 7. This completely changed the way that the iPhone looked and felt. All the icons were new, all the apps were completely redesigned inside, featuring new, completely overhauled looks. Everything now had different layouts. You'd look at the icons, there was a lot of white and black everywhere, such as in the settings app. It was just a very stripped down look and feel to the iOS interface. A lot of the skeuomorphic elements were removed and replaced with transparency, a change that some people really loved and some people really hated. You were either all in on iOS 7 or all in on iOS 6. There was really no in between. There wasn't a, oh, I like this or I like that. It was a completely different design language. It's a completely different look and feel to these two devices, even though they are the exact same device. These are both 5th generation iPod Touches. This one feels completely different to this one. A lot of people credit the change to iOS 7 as the downfall of the performance and stability of the iPhone. When the iPhone first came out, it was incredibly fast and fluid. There were very few dropped animations. Things just worked. And in the changeover to iOS 7, they were in such a hurry to completely redesign the iPhone in just a year to a completely new look and feel that it actually has changed the performance and speed of iPhone, and it has taken a long time. It took probably up until iOS 12 to really start to get back to a good, solid, and fluid version of iOS, and there's still a lot of bugs, even in such a mature OS, that were not present in iOS 6. That being said, there's a lot of limitations to iOS, and iOS 7 didn't really do anything besides put a fresh coat of paint on the device. Everything internally, for the most part, stayed the same with the exception of a few big changes like AirDrop, which is something that a lot of people use to this day. I still prefer to AirDrop files back and forth. Another great change that came about was the Control Center. The Control Center was a great way to quickly toggle things on, like the flashlight. As a matter of fact, there was no easy way to toggle on the flashlight in iOS 6, so it was a super easy change that made life really, really convenient. You could quickly change your brightness for the first time ever on an iPod or an iPhone. You couldn't do that before, but you could on the iPad for some reason in multitasking, just not on the iPod Touch or the iPhone. I really never understood that. It also added some stuff to Siri, like the ability to quickly change and turn on different settings, change your brightness and stuff like that inside of Siri, which I can't actually show you because Apple has disabled their servers for Siri. So Siri actually does not work on any device. I want to say iOS 8 or 9 and under. You actually can't use Siri anymore, which is really, really sad. I would love to show you some stuff about Siri, but you just can't use it, which is unfortunate because Siri was super cool and was a defining, headlining feature in iOS at the time that these devices were coming out. It was brand new and just gaining traction. And here we look later, and we've got devices like the Google Home and stuff, and Amazon Alexa and OpenAI moving forward. And this was really some primitive AI back at the time that could do all kinds of stuff, and you could generate different questions and answers with pretty common language being spoken to the device. So that is kind of a quick overlook at it. We've kind of stuck with the iOS 7 overall aesthetic for all this time. Even moving into iOS 17, I don't really expect any big changes, but we might get some really big changes, especially if the rumors of Apple creating a virtual reality or a mixed reality headset come to fruition on WWDC 2023. We'll find out Monday. If you're watching this after Monday, perhaps we have a brand new category of products that Apple is going to release. So hopefully you found this video interesting and a good walk down memory lane. That was a quick throwback on iOS 7. Thanks for watching.